Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Minute. My name is John, and this is Tuesday Tactics. So today we're going to go over your waiver wire priorities for tonight, going into Week 4, and we've added a couple of players based on the Lions-Ravens game last night, because once again, I turned into a liar because Mark Andrews went off in a big way, and Rashad Bateman as well. So, so I'm going to eat a little bit of crow on that one. Not necessarily recommending Bateman moving forward, but keep an eye on. But we will be putting Andrews in conversation for waiver wire if someone in your league or you got really frustrated with his usage going into the season. So that being said, let's get started. All right, number one on the priority list this week is going to be Trey Benson. James Conner suffered a season-ending injury on Sunday, and Trey Benson was already working his way into significant usage. We're going to use him moving forward. He should be your top target this week if he's available. And if someone else has him, he is a big trade target. And we can go into situations to obtain Trey Benson from a league mate. In a later episode, you guys send me your lineups, and maybe we can see where you can improve, and like that being that Trey Benson is going to be a main target, and what you can give up to get him. So anyway, next on the list, I hate to say it, but Trey Tucker for the Raiders. He is like Geno Smith's favorite target. We all went into the season with Jacoby Myers being the wide receiver one on that team, but the way Geno likes to air the ball out, apparently he just has this thing with Trey Tucker that makes him not a wide receiver one, but a high volume target, which could turn into wide receiver one usage. So I'm going a little aggressive, trying to get Trey Tucker in a couple of leagues too, especially where I lost CeeDee Lamb to his high ankle sprain. That'll hold him out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So you may want to target Trey Tucker, especially if you're filling a need like that. So next on the list, running back Cam Skattebo for the New York Giants. Tyrone Tracy has a shoulder injury, which will put him out for about 2 to 3 weeks. But Skattebo is becoming dominant, and he's just going out there and he's bulldozing people. And I know I had him on the episode last week, along with Benson, but you can't ignore this dude. You got to get him. I know that I went and I got him in a league or two, but he's still out there. You got to get him. And if you're hurting at running back, another trade target there. All right, another guy from last week's episode, Bashal Tootin for the Jags. He's still getting the usage. He's not the running back one there, but he's like the running back 1B. If he's available, he'd be good to hold on to or use if you're hurting at running back. At this point, if you have, like in my case, Isaiah Pacheco, it's time to just cut ties with that dude. Get Bashal Tootin on your roster to fill that spot, and I think you're going to be in a lot better shape. right. We mentioned Alec Manor last week as well, but if he's still out there for some reason, get him. He is going to be the wide receiver 1 for the Titans when this is all said and done. Ridley's just not pulling. He's just not doing it. So you got to be able to accept the reality, as much as it pains me because I was very high on Ridley, to pivot. And when you need to pivot. Fantasy is not one of those games for the week or the sentimental. So you just got to make that move. All right. Hunter Henry went off. He is targeted highly by Drake May. Got 2 touchdowns. He probably won your fantasy week for you if you had him. But if you don't and he's available, pick him up. Same thing with Juwan Johnson. These high volume tight ends, they're gonna do wonders for you, especially in such a scarce market. These 2 tight ends are definitely ones I would recommend. It's time to get Torrey Horton for the Seattle Seahawks. Not only does he play special teams, so any kind of return yards he gets should count in your league. If not, you need to talk to your commissioner about changing that for next year. I don't know. Changing rules in mid-season, not really best practice. That's up to you and your league, though. But I would highly recommend to include return yards for your special team dual players that also play on offense. They need the number 3 to catch the ball there in Seattle, as well as the special team stuff. So he's a good target to have, especially if you're hurting at the position. Troy Franklin put up a dud and probably made a lot of people mad after last week, him being so dominant. It was the Chargers defense. It's totally situational. You guys just got to roll with the punches. You can't give up on Franklin right now. Hold on to him if you can. I understand if you want to pivot or if you have to be aggressive and help out your running back spots by going after Trey Benson or Scattaboo or something like that. I totally understand. But if you can hold on to Franklin, he's going to have some games where Cortland Sutton just wins out because he's Cortland Sutton. So stay tuned. But I would hold on Troy Franklin if you can. All right, the Chiefs, Tyquan Thornton. He's a wide receiver that is getting the looks. He's pacing Hollywood Brown, and he's kind of becoming that downfield threat. And Patrick Mahomes is targeting him a lot. Sunday Night Football. He's someone to go after. But also keep in mind, if you're gonna go after Tyquan Thornton, Rashee Rice is right around the corner. We're going into week 4, which means we have 3 games left of no Rashee Rice, and then he's back. So if you're wanting to wait that out, or you have Rashee Rice, if you're wanting to do this to just hold yourself over until he comes back, great. Just understand the caveat that Rice will be back in a few weeks. But Tyquan Thornton is definitely a good pickup if you're needing the volume. Sterling Shepard. Mike Evans left the game on Sunday, got an MRI, and he could be seeing some time missed. Sterling Shepard is basically the only other wide receiver there in Tampa besides your Mecca Ibuka, which went off. Shout out to anybody that drafted him or traded for him. Ibuka is a beast, and Baker loves throwing to him. So if you have Ibuka, you're good. But if you don't, you have Mike Evans, and you just want to stay in that offense where Baker just likes to throw the ball to his guys. Sterling Shepard, he's going to get – there's volume there to be had. But also, I'm not the most confident in him being a reliable and consistent volume guy. But if Mike Evans is out, then Baker kind of has no choice. He's got to throw the ball. It's either that or throw to Kate Otten, but they've been utilizing him on the O-line since Tristan Wirth has been out. But he's scheduled to come back, and they're also looking at possibly Chris Godwin. That's why Sterling Shepard, you can take a flyer on him, but I'm not the most confident. That's why Tyquan Thornton, Sterling Shepard, and Troy Franklin are the bottom three. Well, they're towards the end of my list because of the question marks. Now, in Washington, you have that backfield there that is basically a three-headed beast. You got Jacory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, Chris Rodriguez, and Jeremy McNichols. And they just keep everybody busy. So for fantasy purposes, while if you want to get in on this backfield, Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, it's kind of your preference on the volume and the pass catching and all that stuff like we went over last week. I'm personally just kind of timid about jumping into this backfield, and especially the way they utilize Devo in the back sometimes. Your call. Just putting this out there in case you're in desperate need, but I'm just not high on it myself. Now, I'm adding DeAndre Hopkins to the mix after the game last night because it's his third game of getting volume. Weeks 1 and 2, he was breaking double digits for fantasy purposes, and that's great. He's showing consistency, and Lamar's going to have to throw the ball. Derrick Henry to me last night looked tired. He looked a little slower, and the Lions defense is good. And Aiden Hutchinson knocking out that ball and causing a fumble recovery for the Lions was awesome. Glad to see that he's recovered and come back. But Derrick Henry, like they may need to back off his usage a little bit and start throwing the ball more. And that's where DeAndre jumps in. Again, Rashad Bateman saw a lot of volume last night. Can go and add him if you want to see where it goes. But I'm just, I only added DeAndre Hopkins for the fact that he has shown that he can do it already. He's been consistent through 3 weeks. So that's where we are with that. All right, some good stash candidates that are also would be wise to get off the waiver wire or in free agency if you want to take the chance. But these guys are up and coming. Blake Corum for the Rams. Kyron Williams continues to be inefficient in the run game. While he's still getting the volume and he's putting up the points, that's a mirage with what is expected to be. And what's expected to be is maybe Blake Corum is taking over that job at some point, especially if there's an injury. Never wish injuries on players, but this is a possibility. I was preaching that with James Conner to get ready for that because the guy just can't seem to stay healthy. And that's what just happened this last weekend. And that's why Trey Benson is the top waiver wire pickup. Blake Corum is that Trey Benson for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I know it's ugly. Miami Dolphins. Do you want to be a part of this? Yeah, maybe. Maybe take the flyer. Maybe take the option there and get Ollie Gordon. Devon Achane, they may want to preserve him, maybe back his usage off a little bit. But he has become the clear number 2. Jalen Wright was a healthy scratch from the lineup this last week. So, Ollie Gordon, that's a pickup. And if you have the space, it might be worth the gamble. Same thing with Woody Marks. Nick Chubb is doing Nick Chubb stuff. He's a beast. I'll always love Nick Chubb because coming out of Georgia and doing the things he did up in Cleveland. But Woody Marks is the next man up. and he's proven he can handle the workload and catch passes. So you may want to take a flyer on him as well. Running back Kyle Monangai, the Bears. DeAndre Swift, he went into the weekend questionable, and but he was healthy and good to go for Sunday. He dominated against Dallas, but Monangai still he saw volume, he saw touches. He's one to hold on to and get ready for a possible decline of DeAndre Swift. I know it sounds bad, and it's almost like everybody's waiting for somebody to get hurt so their guy can come up. That's not the case. It's just being it's a defensive mindset. You're being proactive if you have the roster spot. So add Kyle Monangai if you want to bank on the fact that maybe that offense becomes a bit more like the Lions, where Ben Johnson came from, where it's been so successful with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. If you watched the game last night, you definitely see that was the case. So, yeah. All right. So these guys should already be rostered, but you need to add them if they are available. Last night's game, you got Mark Andrews. Like I said, he should be rostered, but maybe somebody got frustrated with him being so disappointing in getting fantasy points through the week. So, or through the last 2 weeks before last night. So if he's available, get him. Wan'Dale Robinson was a big pickup for last week. He's been getting the volume. If they can't all go to Malik Neighbors, and honestly, the way Russ looked on Sunday night looked god awful, and he was not targeting Malik Neighbors. He was targeting Wan'Dale Robinson. He just could not get the ball to Malik without it being a hospital ball, and he was looking for Wan'Dale in the middle of the field for the short dump offs. So high volume, and he's been consistent. Get Wan'Dale if you can, if he's available. Solid pickup if you don't already have him. Same thing with Zach Ertz, especially with Jaden Daniels being injured and questionable to come back. Marcus Mariota was getting it done, and he was finding Zach Ertz just the same. But we also have an injured Terry McLaurin. Don't know what that looks like as of yet. Zach Ertz should see a pickup in volume in addition to his normal. Not a bad pickup. Brenton Strange should be on your rosters because for some reason Trevor Lawrence does not like throwing to Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, or De'Ami Brown. I don't know what's going on with that offense. I have an idea. It's Trevor Lawrence, but it has just not been efficient or good, and I am officially in panic mode with Brian Thomas Jr. It's so disappointing, and I hate to see that, but if you can find a trade partner where you're not giving up BTJ for pennies on the dollar, see if you can make a deal. I just made a deal this last weekend where I exchanged BTJ and Kenneth Walker for CeeDee Lamb and Blake Corum. Boy, did that one bite me in the ass. I knew Kenneth Walker. It's his time, but the enticement of CeeDee Lamb was too great, and the panic button was ready to be pushed on BTJ. So, yeah, that hurts. Hopefully CeeDee can come back and be good and strong after a few weeks or so, a month, and I'll just hold him in my IR spot until that time comes. But lesson learned. Ouch. Brenton Strange, though, that's back to that. He should be rostered. If he's not, get him. Solid tight end that's going to get volume. Same with Jatavian Sanders, even though he wasn't that great this last weekend. Volume is going to be the name of the game in Carolina. Sorry, this is just a frustrating week. But, do with what you got. So you can pick him up if he's not already rostered, if you're in need at tight end this week. All right. Now to QB options. The obvious one, but probably still isn't there, is Daniel Jones for the Colts. We already know what Danny Dimes is doing. We may need to change him to Danny Dollars because he is cashing in big in Indianapolis. Caleb Williams probably isn't there anymore. He might be. If he is, he's legit. I was high on Caleb Williams last year, and he just didn't show up. But this year, it's Caleb Williams' Romadunze show. So get him if you need QB help, or maybe you can swap him out with like a Kyler Murray. He's definitely performing. All right. Even though this one now makes me a little skittish, Geno Smith for the Raiders loves throwing the ball. He is one of the most pass-heavy quarterbacks, but he has been holding onto the ball way too long and getting a ton of sacks. It's just been ugly. So proceed with caution with Geno Smith. Matthew Stafford for the Rams. He's getting it done, man. He is finding Puka Nacua. He is finding Devontae Adams. He's making it happen. If you're in need of QB, Matthew Stafford's legit, and he could be better than the options that you're dealing with. Or if you're trying to replace a Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields. Well, Justin Fields might be back and he'd have concussion protocol this week, but stuff like that. So next on the list is Sam Darnold for the Seahawks. Jason's getting peppered with targets, and he's making stuff happen with them. That's because Sam Darnold's finding him, and they're making the plays. He is a good pickup, as well as Carson Wentz for the Vikings. Wentz is getting it done, and he's definitely a solid option. They may not go back to JJ this season, or at least this week. Carson Wentz is a good pickup, but keep an eye on that and his status. Speaking of Washington earlier, Marcus Mariota, solid if you need QB, or if you were just wanting to stick in with that offense. But just keep in mind that he also may be without Terry McLaurin, like I said before. So it's just one less big target, but Luke McCaffrey was getting involved, and if you're wanting to take a stab at that and stay with that offense, Marcus Mariota's the guy. Now, I'm only mentioning Tua because maybe Tua is doing stuff again, but just proceed with caution. It's Tua, and don't want anybody getting burned on that. All right. So, with streaming defenses, or you're just out on a certain one, that brings us to this part of the show. Houston Texans versus the Titans is a good stream this week. Same with New England Patriots versus the Panthers. Los Angeles Chargers at the Giants. Detroit Lions versus the Browns. And Minnesota. My ticker just ran out. Let me see what that says for Minnesota. After the Lions last night against the Ravens, that should be probably higher on the list. But craziness. But Minnesota Vikings at Steelers, and Washington Commanders at the Falcons. All right. Let's get more involved, and you guys send me your questions. Send me the things that you have questions about. If you need trade advice, you can screenshot a trade offer that you're contemplating and send it to me. That's let's engage with each other. Share the channel with your friends, whatever outlet whatever platform you're watching from. We've got the QR code. It'll take you to the link tree that'll show you everywhere that episodes are being broadcast. Just follow along on everything that on every platform that you're on, so that way you're likely to not miss an episode. I try to get these things out. I'm trying better to get them out earlier in the day on days that matter. This being the waiver episode, I'm going to try to get this posted up by middle of the day. That is the goal. If you guys send me stuff, I'll put it in episodes like the Wednesday workload or the next episode, especially if it bears value for that point in the week, before big games, before any games. That way, and if you comment on any of the videos, I will answer you as soon as possible. That way, you're not waiting and you have a game plan going into the week before games. Don't want you guys to stress. It would be fun. So let's do it. All right, enough rambling. Tell me about your fantasy football team. Like I said, you can send screenshots, situations. Tell me your highs and lows from the week. Maybe you had Trey Tucker and he put up 50 points for you this last week, and you're super excited because you were high on him and you threw him in there because of a thing. Awesome. Or you can tell me that, hey, John, you're not alone. I had CeeDee Lamb too. This hurts. Let's sulk together. It's a camaraderie that's highly encouraged. So that being said, this concludes another episode of Fantasy Minute. This is Tuesday Tactics. We will be back tomorrow with the Wednesday workload. Until then, good luck, and we'll see you next time on the Fantasy Minute.